Title: Rude Man on Bus. Then he was taught a lesson by a kid. The bus jerked to a stop, causing the woman sitting by the window to spill her coffee. She wiped it off her lap, muttering a soft curse under her breath. But as the bus doors opened, the real disturbance began. A man, loud, unruly, with a scowl plastered across his face, entered the bus. He shoved past passengers, knocking into them without a second glance. His frustration radiated, a dark cloud that seemed to settle over the entire bus. But then, something unexpected happened. A little voice, innocent and pure, broke through the tension in the air. "Excuse me, sir, your bag is in my way." The words came from a small, nervous voice belonging to a child sitting near the front. The man froze for a moment, his brow furrowed, before turning to face the young boy. "Are you talking to me, kid?" The man sneered, his tone dripping with sarcasm. The boy, no older than 10, stood up, his small body trembling slightly but his voice unwavering. "Yes, I was just saying your bag is in my space. You can move it, please?" The man let out a laugh, the sound harsh and mocking. He looked around, as if waiting for someone to back him up, but everyone seemed to avoid eye contact, heads down, all too familiar with this kind of behavior. Everyone, except the kid. The bus rumbled forward, and the man huffed, rolling his eyes. He lifted his bag without a word, shoving it beside him onto the seat. The boy sat back down, his small face flushed but proud of himself. But what no one knew was that this small interaction would change everything, not just for the man, but for all of them. The bus ride continued, the dull hum of the engine filling the silence. The boy, whose name was Luke, sat quietly in his seat, his eyes glued to the window as the city passed by. He didn't look up again until the man stood up and began moving toward the door. And that's when it happened. The bus lurched suddenly. A hard brake as another vehicle cut in front of the bus. The man stumbled, his bag flying across the aisle, hitting Luke in the face. A few passengers laughed nervously, but no one moved to help. The man was already grumbling under his breath as he reached for his bag, oblivious to the startled boy sitting next to him. Luke winced, a sharp pain in his cheek. He wiped the sting away and looked up at the man, his voice quiet but resolute. "Are you okay?" Luke asked, his words soft but genuine. The man paused as though the question caught him off guard. For a moment, he just stared at Luke. A flicker of something. Embarrassment? Regret? Passing through his eyes. But instead of answering, the man scoffed. "Mind your own business, kid." Luke, however, didn't back down. Instead, he smiled, softly. "If you need a hand, I can help." The man froze again, as if Luke had spoken in a language he couldn't understand. The passengers around them had all become strangely quiet. It was as if the entire bus had stopped moving, not physically, but emotionally, everyone waiting to see how this would unfold. And then, something extraordinary happened. The man looked down at Luke, really looked at him, and for the first time, he saw more than just a kid with a soft voice and kind eyes. He saw someone who cared enough to help, to offer even the smallest gesture of kindness to a stranger. Someone who, despite being on the receiving end of the man's gruff attitude, still extended the hand of compassion. The moment lingered, just a beat too long. "You know what, kid?" The man grumbled. I guess I could use some help." The words were reluctant, but they were there, and they hit Luke's heart harder than he expected. He stepped forward, gently taking the bag and placing it back in the man's hands. Their fingers brushed, and for a fleeting second there was a connection, one of understanding, of shared humanity. Luke's gesture wasn't grand, it was simple. But in that simplicity, the man was changed. As the bus neared its stop, the atmosphere had completely shifted. The man's anger had dissipated, his mood lighter, almost unrecognizable from the gruff individual who had first boarded the bus. He turned back to Luke, this time with a soft smile. "Thanks," he said, his voice a little more humble now. "You've got a good heart." Luke smiled back, his cheeks reddening. "It's nothing. Just don't let the little things get to you." The bus pulled to a stop, and the man, who had moments ago been the picture of frustration, now walked. Off with his head held a little higher, his shoulders a little straighter. He didn't look back, but as the door closed, something in his eyes softened. A realization, perhaps, that kindness wasn't just about grand gestures, but about being open to it, no matter where it came from. Later that day, Luke's mom was waiting for him at the bus stop, smiling warmly as he approached. She noticed the slight spring in his step, the way he seemed more confident than usual. "How was your day, sweetheart?" she asked. "It was good," Luke replied, his voice filled with quiet pride. "I learned something today. Sometimes it's the smallest things that make the biggest difference." The world is full of people rushing, frustrated, caught in their own storms. Sometimes it's easy to forget how simple acts of kindness can change everything. But Luke, that little boy with the soft voice and the kind heart, reminded us all of the power that even a small gesture can have. It was just a bus ride, but for the man, for the passengers, and for Luke, it was a lesson that would last a lifetime. So, the next time you're out and about, don't hesitate to offer a kind word, a helping hand, or a smile. You never know how much it could mean to someone, and maybe, just maybe, it will be the one thing that changes everything for them. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, comment, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. And make sure to subscribe for more inspiring stories. Tell us, when was the last time someone's simple act of kindness made a difference in your life? Share your story in the comments below, and let's keep the cycle of kindness going.